Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about having a Capricorn Sun and Sagittarius Mercury in your natal chart. I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. What I'm talking about is having that Sun-Mercury combination in your chart, having a Capricorn Sun and Sagittarius Mercury in your chart. Now, first off, the basic character, which is the Sun, in this case, the Sun being in Capricorn, can be very disciplined, structured, responsible, consistent, ambitious, and but yet pessimistic and sometimes depressive. Now, on the communication side of things, and communication, of course, being associated with Mercury, Mercury being in Sagittarius can be more philosophical, blunt, optimistic, exuberant, voracious, and jocular. So even though you have the basic character of the Capricorn Sun can be somewhat depressive, negative, and cynical at times, but the Mercury and Sagittarius may help balance this a little. The person, in their way of thinking, may be more optimistic and upbeat than the typical Capricorn Sun. Now, the Sun in astrology is associated with our basic wants, and the Capricorn Sun wants to attain success and career ambitions. And Sagittarius Mercury may often talk about expanding their horizons, their philosophies, religion, sports, advertising. The person needs to be careful not to advertise too much of their business, because this person, may often, talk more than they should about certain things, because, it's a very, it's an impulsive, position as far as Mercury goes. Mercury being in Sagittarius comes right out with things, and sometimes they may, say something about themselves that they really didn't need to be advertising, so to speak. And the true self, which is the Sun. In this case, the Sun, being in Capricorn, can be very premeditative, serious, disciplined, but yet melancholy at times. The thinking, which is Mercury, in this case, Mercury being in Sagittarius, can be positive, visionary, and enthusiastic. And as far as how this combination may work, how this energy may integrate, well, you have the fundamental character, which is the Sun. The Sun being in Capricorn can be disciplined, but yet at times the thinking, which is Mercury, can be reckless as Sagittarius. And the Capricorn Sun, the basic nature, can be pessimistic, but yet the mind, which is Mercury, can be more positive, upbeat, and optimistic, which is Sagittarius. And now the thing is, when you have a Capricorn Sun and Sagittarius Mercury, naturally then you have Mercury positive before the Sun. And with Mercury being positioned before the Sun, the person may generally be more premeditative and may often think, which is Mercury, prior to acting, and which is the Sun. And this may shine the light, which is the Sun, so to speak, on communication, which is Mercury abilities. If there is a conjunct aspect that exists between the Capricorn Sun and Sagittarius Mercury. Now, conjunction aspect is 0 degrees. I use a 10-degree orb if you have at least one personal planet involved in the aspect. In this case, of course, you have two personal planets involved, the Sun and Mercury. And let's say, for example, if the Capricorn Sun is at 3 degrees and Sagittarius Mercury is at 29 degrees, that would form a conjunction aspect. And when you have there's some astrologers out there and astrology enthusiasts that don't believe in out of sign aspects. I believe they are valid. I can validate that by illustrating through this example. Now, in this example, with the Capricorn Sun at 3 degrees and the Sag Mercury at 29 degrees, you have a 4-degree disparity between the Sun and Mercury. And the thing is, when you have that, you have 4 degrees difference, and they're in close proximity, the Sun and Mercury, and I would say there's still friction that would exist between those planet. So I do believe, the out of sign aspects are valid. I do apply it to the other major aspects as well. The sextile, the trine, the square, and the opposition, and also the inconjunct aspect. Now, some people believe the inconjunct aspect is minor, but I see it as actually a major aspect. And when you have the Sun and Mercury conjunct each other, it could also, give an affinity for math, and also the memory may be retentive as well. And having the Mercury in Sagittarius, that could be good for storing away, a lot of things that may have been learned, in higher education, college, or, subjects associated with sports, religion, and philosophy, as some examples. Now, the thing about this is the sun in astrology is connected with the biological father and children. So with a Capricorn sun, the biological father and at least one child, if applicable, may actually be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant, or embody those characteristics. Now Mercury is associated with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. So having a Sagittarius Mercury, you may have some siblings, cousins, and neighbors that may actually be a Sagittarius sun, moon, or ascendant, or embody those traits. And it's also about the perception of these people. So having a Capricorn sun, you may perceive the biological father and at least one child, again if applicable, as people that are structured, disciplined, ambitious, responsible, um, consistent, people that are premeditative, but you may also perceive them somewhat cynical, depressive, pessimistic, um, overly conventional and orthodox, as some examples. And with Sagittarius Mercury, you may perceive some siblings, cousins, and neighbors as people that are philosophical, exuberant, enthusiastic, optimistic, jocular, jovial, but at the same time you may perceive some of them as being overly, over optimistic, reckless, foolhardy, blunt, tactless, people that lack, tact and diplomacy. So those are some ways that could manifest. Now, the sun in astrology is connected with our actions. So, the actions having a Capricorn sun, may be where, they're very, premeditative and planned and done, on very, a lot of, think, it's really a lot of seriousness in those actions. And the actions may often be related, to one's career, gaining a greater stature in life. And with the Sagittarius Mercury, Mercury is also it's connected with short journeys. So short journeys may be done with a lot of enthusiasm, exuberance, optimism. There may be a number of short journeys to sports or religious venues. Could be, as far as college goes, if this is a person that is enrolled in college, this could be a person that takes a lot of short journeys there to college, university, and really it's just a good, when you have this Capricorn Sun and Sagittarius Mercury, it just has a good balance. The Capricorn Sun, being the Sun being connected with the basic fundamental character of being, cautious, prudent, premeditative, and the Sagittarius, somewhat, but it can be somewhat, pessimistic at times. But when you have the Sagittarius Mercury, again, the mind can be more optimistic and upbeat. And positive in terms of their way of thinking and wanting, and the mind may be about expanding horizons as well, and wanting to go outside the box. So that might help the Capricorn Sun, be a little bit just more philosophical in general and going outside the box from time to time. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.